Some years ago, after a practice, got home to find a message waiting from Sir Silverthorn. He'd sent a note out to the entire barony saying, "Did anyone happen to find my blue fighting tunic?"
Oh no.
And the muse said, "I can work with that." Sir Silverthorn had a blue tunic that under his armor he wore. It bore all the brunt of his fighting, and many blows suffered full sore. For many years he had worn it, but it never had needed a wash. If it got stiff or fragrant, he'd just beat it until it was soft. It was Silverthorn's blue fighting tunic, the one we recall to mind. Sir Silverthorn's blue fighting tunic, the one that was left behind. It was after a practice one Wednesday when the great knight unpacked his bag. He had gathered his kit in a hurry in haste to saddle his nag. His blue fighting tunic was missing. He searched, but it could not be found. Sir Silverthorn was not forgetful. He'd never lost hawk nor hound. The tunic was rolled in a bundle back at the practice hall, the place where the populace gathers each week to answer the call. It would lay all alone in the darkness, forgotten behind a chair, until a silvery shaft of moonlight illuminated it there. The tunic glowed in the moonlight. It seemed to shimmer and shift. And then, in the darkness, it quivered. And then it began to lift. The tunic arose in the moonlight, and there it slowly unrolled. It turned to its left, and then to its right, and then it went out for a stroll. What magic was moonlight making that thus animated a shirt? It was only an old fighting tunic encrusted with sweat and with dirt. But this was Silverthorn's tunic, which at last, at length, had become saturated with power, with pungent prowess and strength. It sailed through the streets of the city and flapped like a proud battle flag. It was seeing these sights for the first time. It was usually stuffed in a bag. It came to the banks of a river that twists and turns, a great river for a great city, a river that occasionally burns. The tunic stood in confusion amidst all the ships and the cranes, but the tunic had never seen water except as occasionally rain. The tunic stood there and wondered what would happen if it went for a swim. The tunic was ripe for adventure, and so the tunic dove in. Now, you might think our story would end there, that the magic would all wash away, and the tunic would float down the river, and I'd have naught else to say. But this is the Crooked River, a river of fire and ice, and there are things in the Crooked River, things not noble, not nice. The dark current savaged the tunic till its goodness was utterly spent. The tunic, now twisted and evil, on mayhem and pillage was bent. It boarded a merchant vessel by climbing the anchor chain. It flung itself at a crewman who shrieked in terror and pain. Very good. Nice. He called out for aid to his shipmates. They rushed to its side, but then this was Silverthorn's tunic, and it had the strength of 10 men. One crusty old salt saw the carnage. He knew how to settle the score, for he had once been a fighter. He'd served on the Carrick Moor, that great floating shire of legend that sailed the 7 seas with nuclear Tipperchan weapons and pennons on the flight deck's breeze. He rushed below decks to the laundry, and you know what happened next. 1 cup full of soap, and that tunic collapsed in a heap on the deck. And thus ends the tale of the tunic that briefly knew its own mind. Sir Silverthorn's blue fighting tunic, the one that was left behind.